So Grandview is revered by a lot of locals as the worst timeshare in Las Vegas. The reason that I knew that this timeshare presentation sucked, and it did definitely suck, is because while we were on the street, we talked to a wide variety of people. I talked to some security guards. I talked to staff at hotels. I even talked to people that were selling other timeshare presentations. And they told me that Grandview is one of the worst presentations on the Las Vegas Strip. And it's not even on the Las Vegas Strip. Grandview is actually about a 20 to 25 minute drive away from the Las Vegas Strip. It's 10 miles down the street. So if you're on the Las Vegas Strip and somebody sells you a timeshare presentation at Grandview, they say, hey, the presentation's short, just go there and say no, we're going to throw you some free gifts. Just know it's going to take you 20 minutes, 25 minutes to get down to Grandview and 20 to 25 minutes to get back to the Las Vegas Strip. So that's already 1 hour. So that's the first bad thing about this presentation. It's going to be an hour of just going there and going back to the Las Vegas Strip. Now, the presentation itself says it's supposed to be about 2 hours, but while I was there, it was more of a 4 hour presentation. And on top of that, when we went to this presentation, they started the presentation 30 minutes late. So we got there, we actually showed up early, and we sat there in the waiting room for like 30 to 40 minutes, and so did everybody else before that presentation started. Now, when we started the presentation, we got a sales rep. I told the sales rep that I did not even want to be at the presentation. I only showed up because my girlfriend wanted that gift card for $200 that they promised we would get if we went. Now, if you factor in the fact that I had to spend $40 to Uber down to Grandview and back to the Las Vegas Strip, we only made $160 in actual profit. And during this presentation, they're going to take you through the entire resort at Grandview. It is a rather big property, so just them walking you through is going to take like an hour. And I'll go ahead and I'll do like a little frame by frame. So you get to Grandview. They have an entrance just for people that are doing the timeshare presentation. You're going to get to that room. You're going to sit there. You're going to have to wait for them to get you a sales rep. And like I said, that's like 30 to 40 minutes of just waiting in that one back room with a whole bunch of other people that got suckered in that go into this timeshare presentation. Then you're going to go to a little breakfast area where they serve you the cheapest breakfast I've seen in my life. Even the Motel 6 and other cheap hotels and motels I've stayed at that have roaches have had better breakfasts than this one. So they give you this horrendously cheap breakfast, saying that you'll be fed when you get there. I was expecting some fine dining. I was expecting to get like French toast or eggs or, some chicken and waffles. This is what we got. So you're in there eating that horrible breakfast with the sales rep. Sales rep is going to talk to you, try to, build some rapport. Then they're going to escort you around the property and show you everything on site. Now, on site, they had a lot of stuff there. They had swimming pools. They had a gym. They had an entire movie theater. They had a bingo room. They had a casino. They had multiple restaurants. They were supposed to show us the inside of the resort rooms, but we skipped that part probably because the sales rep knew I wanted to get up out of there as fast as possible. After they show you the entire property, they're going to bring you to another area. And in this area, they just go over how much the timeshare is going to cost, and they're going to try to press you to buy. But they don't really press you that hard. But what they do is they bring in a second salesperson, and that second salesperson plays hardball. So I think the first sales rep is just to be friendly, like a little good cop, bad cop. So the first salesperson is there to just be friendly and smile and be super nice. Then they bring in a second salesperson who is just straight to the point, like, hey, do you want to sign this timeshare? You say no. They're like, okay, why not? And these people, they have been trained on how to overcome every single objection. So you might say something like, well, we don't know if this is going to be worth it for us financially. Then they'll be like, hey, long term, this is an investment. They're going to have a rebuttal for every single no or objection that you give these sales reps. If you make it past the second sales rep, then they will take you to what I like to call the final boss sales guy. So you made it past the first sales rep, you made it through the presentation, you made it through the second sales rep. Now you're off to the final sales rep, which they did not even warn me about. I was like, okay, we're done. Take us to the exit. Our sales rep was like, okay, if you want to exit and get your gifts, you have to go to this room over here. When we got to that room, which I thought was the exit, it was just another sales rep. And this one was the most shady and unscrupulous sales rep of them all. So this is an extremely serious looking salesperson that they bring to you at the end. And this person is going to just really push you for an extraordinarily hard sales. I mean, this person that they brought in had they had no shame with asking you, hey, like, are you going to buy this or not? Yeah, and I think he even said it was just dumb. He was like, yeah, if you want this, because my rebuttal was, they were like, why do you not want to buy this? I said, I don't want any debt. And I was like, and I don't want to spend any extra money. He was like, hey, if you just pay cash, you don't have to have any debt. So they just basically held you hostage in that third room and pressed you with some extreme hardball. I don't even call these sales strategy. This is just like just preying on people with their back against the wall. People are trying to just leave. And yeah, this is their like last ditch. And they also lower the price. So they're like, hey, we dropped the price down from like $10,000 down to $6,000 down to $4,000. And they're like, hey, do you want to buy this or not? And we said no, and they finally relinquished and let us up out of there. But we were there for way, way, way longer than what I thought we were going to be there for. We were probably there for at least 4 hours, and we got through that presentation way faster than everybody else that was there that day. So I think I can assume the other people that were also at that presentation were probably there for like 5-6 hours, between like having to wait in that first room for an hour and then going and eating that cheap breakfast for like 30 minutes and then going through a tour of the property for like an hour plus, and then after that having to sit in a room and go over numbers for like an hour, and then waiting to go to the last room to try to get up out of there. Yeah, easily 4 to 6 hours of your day, once you include how long it's going to take you to get from the Las Vegas Strip down to Grandview and back to the Las Vegas Strip. And then the final thing was, the resort that they showed us sucked. So Grandview is a big property, but it's very old and outdated. Like, we were staying at the Venetian, the biggest hotel in North America, and that place is very swanky and fancy and updated. Yeah, so when we got to Grandview, I was like, this place looks like my grandmother's house. It's old, outdated. The carpet looks old and dirty. I was like, yeah, I don't even if I had the money to buy a timeshare, I don't think I'd buy it here at this old, raggedy resort. So when we made it out, I was like, yo, this is crazy that we sat in here for that long. But Grandview, the company, they make $150 million per month, as I was told by one of the reps. And then I went on Indeed and ZipRecruiter. I was like, I wonder how much these people make. And on average, a timeshare sales rep at Grandview makes about $80,000 a year. So they're getting paid about right around $7,000 a month to press people into buying these timeshares. And during the presentation, like, the guy that was selling us the timeshare, like, he knew that these timeshares were horrible, like, for people's credit, and we're just putting people in the debt. I actually called the sales rep Satan. I was like, yo, man, like, and the funny thing is that the sales rep, he likes to watch stuff like Dave Ramsey, and he likes to watch Caleb Hammer Financial Audit. So he's like very big. He was very big onto like financial literacy and not having debt and having good credit. Yet he was selling these timeshares that were putting people into debt. And I was like, yo, if you go on to like Caleb Hammer's show, he's gonna call you Satan for selling these horrible timeshares to people. And the sales rep even admitted himself. He was like, hey, if you look around this room, you're not gonna see any doctors and lawyers in here. He was like, it's all like uneducated, lower income people in here that buy these timeshares. And after he said that, he also said that he sold $113,000 of timeshares last month, which I think he told us he was getting an 8% commission. So he probably made like $10,000 last month selling these timeshares. So yeah, that was my take on going to Grandview In Las Vegas, the timeshare presentation sucked, and the sales reps were rude. The first sales rep was actually nice, and then when you move on to the second sales rep and the third sales rep, they just become like ruder and ruder. With the final sales rep just like not giving a damn about you or anything like that. It was like literally like when you tell them the final no, they're like, okay, get up out of here, get out of here. We don't want you here. Get out. The door's over there, sir. Get out. So yeah, just extremely rude, shady sales tactics. We went to another presentation for a timeshare at the Jockey Club. That presentation was actually very enjoyable. It was funny, it was comedic, and it was short. It was only 90 minutes. And it was also in the middle of the Las Vegas Strip. So if you're watching this video and you're considering going to the Grandview presentation, I would say don't do it. There's other timeshare presentations that are way shorter and way closer to Las Vegas downtown and the Las Vegas Strip. And then the final piece I want to just throw on super fast, they're going to give you a free 2-night stay or a free 3-night stay. I think we got a free 3-night stay, but that free 3-night stay is not even free. You're going to have to pay $100 for that free stay plus attend another timeshare presentation. Hey, look at that. So that's all for the day. I hope you guys have a good one.